Hello everyone, my name is Sheffrey and welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory. Finally, in 1.1. Look at that, I made it. Sort of safely, I guess. So as you can tell from the top left-hand corner, that little experimental build bar that, man, I really wish I could get rid of. Can I burn it away or something? Either way, I finally got it working. For the most part, it still logs me out for some reason every time I launch the game, but it works. I can play, I can save, and I can load it. So, where like I said in one of the prior episodes, this means I'm going to basically commit a bunch of this episode to playing with a bunch of the new things. So I'll try to remember to put a timestamp down below so you can skip ahead to the actual work I'm going to do, where we're going to finish the train line to copper, set up the water and the refineries for it really quick, then do the copper wire constructors, hook all that up so we can finally turn on the motors at least, so I can feel like I got something done this episode, even though we're going to play with a bunch of new stuff. So, I think I do have a couple of things unlocked already. If you go to transport, you can see the hypertube junction and the hypertube branch. I'm not going to use those too much just as of yet. I probably will more as we set this train line up. I've also got a little human cannon here set up that sometimes kills you, sometimes doesn't kill you. You never know. It's a gamble that you get to take every time you get in them. So let me just run on over here to our awesome shop, our awesome sink here really quick. And we will pick up our coupons, which I have quite a few of, 326. So I'll definitely be able to buy everything we need here to unlock all the new stuff, all the fun new things. And then I think there's also a lot of the just quality of life differences and changes. I probably won't go over a ton of those today. I'll go over a couple of the ones I know for sure. And then I'm sure some of them I'm just going to have to learn kind of as we go. So we're going to hop on in here to our Golden Awesome shop. Welcome back, as you can see, welcome back 257. That's not my name. I'm currently still logged out. Sometimes it logs me in partway through the playthrough. So let's head on to management here. We have our conveyor wall holes. That's going to be a good one. We'll throw those in there. The conveyor throughput. Oh, I can't wait to use those. That's going to be great. Anything else in here that I need to pick up? Nope, that's everything from there. Organization. We've got the basic shelf unit. Honestly, when they were showing these off, I thought they just hand put these together and they were like, look, you can design shelves now, but you actually get full-on shelves. That's cool. Customizer. Anything new in here? No, we've got everything here. Foundations is all the same. Walls is all the same. Architecture. There is our new toy, the elevator. Grab that as well. Don't need anything from here. And then, I'm sure I'll buy some parts at some point. But it looks like that's pretty much all the new stuff I'm going to bother grabbing for now. Only 19 tickets out of my 300 something. Perfect.
Humans have long practiced delegating work that strains and tires them to machines. It is their best achievement. Such challenges often include simple counting and short-term memory, which the conveyor throughput monitor specializes in. Simply add one to any belt, and it will tell you its throughput after only 1 minute.
Nice. Alright, so it does take sounds like it takes a couple minutes to, actually I'm going to put these over here. Sounds like it does take a couple of minutes to get going, but either way, that's going to be really cool. It's going to help me a lot when I'm trying to set things up properly. And then I think there's also priority. Oh, maybe there might be some stuff to unlock here in the man. Let me check this out really quick. Although I think I have a hard drive researching, so I'll need a minute. Check out the sulfur. Nothing new in there. Quartz. Okay, here it is. These are the priority mergers. So I need 15 crystal oscillators and 100 of those. So I can have crystal oscillators in my cloud storage, I think. And I'm assuming then that means it takes crystal oscillators to actually make the priority mergers, which means we're going to have to automate crystal oscillators here pretty soon.
Priority merger unlocked. Useful for prioritizing between inputs to avoid eventual stoppage. If you have an issue with stoppage somewhere else, consult a physician instead.
Alright, cool. So we got the priority. There was nothing else in the tree there that I could find. But now we have priority mergers. Hooray! And they do indeed take crystal oscillators to craft. So we're going to have to automate or set up ourselves a nice little crystal oscillator factory because I'm probably going to be using priority mergers in a few spots. And then I also need them for like all my signs and everything too. So that'll probably be once we finish up with this mega project, maybe before we start the fused modular frames, we'll bang out a quick little crystal oscillator factory. Now I might, or maybe I might do that, or like, because I'll probably build a big crystal oscillator factory and then we'll just separate some off for crafting and then some will go to somewhere else. But anyway, okay, so let's check out a few. I think I missed something. I thought there was, like the design, like it should be an architecture maybe. Yeah, maybe I missed it in here somewhere. I thought there was like, floor vent or like wall vents. Ah, here we go. It's under architecture. I just didn't scroll down far enough. So we got the beam expansion pack, the structural cable. I knew I missed something. So you got new beams, new cables, and there's the ventilator bundle. Okay, so let me grab my little tickets here. I forgot something. We'll grab all those. Oops. Cart. There we go. Okay. You guys are probably like, hey man, you missed stuff. But don't worry, we got it. We got it. Okay, nothing to save for unlocking those. Okay, that's okay. So let's check these out. So we got the fan. That looks pretty cool. I don't know if it works. It definitely doesn't necessarily work on like these where it's like the foundation, but like these parts might work kind of cool. It definitely kind of works here too. I'm gonna put one in just because so I can take a look at it. I mean, they look pretty cool. They definitely fit in on these little walls here. Just put a vent next to it just so you can see what they look like. And they look great. They actually fit in really well. If only I could get like some like smoke or steam coming out of it. That'd be cool. Does it come out on this side too? Nice. Alright, I don't really quite understand where I would use the corner road barrier, although can I take these away? Okay. I mean, maybe. I mean, I think I definitely like the beams a little better because I can kind of clip it more into the ground, but I can maybe see using those. Oh, that's a quality of life feature. So now when you click on things like the beams, for example, instead of this would normally be orange, it would go back to the factory color. It's whatever color I grab it from. It's whatever color I grab it from. And then I believe the same thing works for signs. So say if I want to grab this sign right here and put it down, I believe this is actually going to copy this sign one-to-one. So this will make putting down the lights and everything a lot easier too. That's great. Quality of life features. Okay, I'm curious about these braided cables. I think they look really cool, and they definitely will have like some really good places where you can use them, but can you customize them? That's the question. No, okay, so they only look one way. But I definitely am going to be watching some other people's videos, I think, for some cool inspiration on how to build like bridges and stuff with that. I always have a bit of a hard time with that, but this is pretty cool. Okay, the only thing I wish is that you could get like one solid, like if you could get these lines out of the middle, that would look even better. But definitely a nice little thing to have. A new beam? Oh, this looks really nice. So I'm assuming this is like a paintable version of the current metal beam, but a little bit more. Oh, it's actually nicer. It's more like, yeah, more like an H beam. And then I'm assuming you can color it. Nice. Okay, I like that a lot. Those are definitely going to get used a lot. What else we got in here? Braided cluster cable. Okay, so that's just another version of the cable. That looks cool though. It looks like a really like big thick power line almost. Okay, and then I think that's pretty much going to be it, except for, oh, the roll-up gate. Oh, I've been waiting for these. Okay, so let me get rid of these. There we go. Now, so right here, I'm going to put a gate hole wall, and then the roll-up gate. Oh, it's like huge. Wow, it is so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Oh, okay. So if you want to like make it seem like it's just a small singular one, you can kind of wall it in like that. And then, you know, you won't see the rest of the wall. Like, you'll have that clipping through, but at least then it's just a small one. And then if you want the big one, you can go like this. Although I guess you have to be mindful of where you actually attach this to, because this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Oh man, it looks really cool though. So it is too wide. They probably do that so trucks can go through, I imagine, right? I mean, this isn't a truck, but let's do this just for an example. So imagine a slightly bigger vehicle trying to fit through here. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely that way so trucks can drive through. That's really cool though. I like the way that looks. I like the animation of it too. Alright, now we finally have a garage. That's pretty cool. I almost forgot about those. Those were one of the things I was looking forward to. And then conveyor walls should be here somewhere. So now you can put a conveyor wall anywhere you want instead of being limited by just where the standard ones were. Alright, I'm in the iron factory here that we built a couple episodes ago. I want to try the conveyor throughput here. So this also takes crystal oscillators. Okay, so we're definitely going to need to be crafting up a bunch of crystal oscillators. Okay, so we'll let that calibrate for a minute. And then while we wait for that to calibrate, I think one of the other quality of life things now is that if you take a splitter, you can actually put it... Wait, I thought you could put them on the ceiling. It didn't have to be a... I thought that was like a... Oh, there we go. Okay, so if you hold down control... Or did I have to hold down control? Maybe that's what it was. Either, whatever it was... Oh, it was trying to put down a vertical lift before. That's why. Okay. So yeah, you can put splitters on the ceiling now, which you never were able to do before because you had to take your belts like this and put them and then you'd have to put the splitters in manually. But now you can actually just put your splitters right on the ceiling, which is going to be perfect for some of these factory builds I do. Okay, still calibrating. I like how the number kind of just fluctuates a bunch while it's calibrating. That's pretty cool. And then I just want to kind of see how this priority merger works. Okay, so you can set each input to be like low, medium, high priority. So it's not like a set, can't set specific numbers, which I guess that's fair because it might be like a little bit overpowered at that point. But I can definitely see where this is going to get used in the future. Hey, and it's got like this cool gold finish to it. Okay, what if I turn all gold? Oh yeah, even better. Look at that. Super fancy. That's probably what all my priority mergers look like now. Okay, so this is getting... Is it done calibrating? It's alternating between 367, 368, and 369 apparently. And 365. Interesting. Oh, I guess that stopping that's happening is probably altering the flow. So let me see if I can find a belt that's like not stopped up and we'll see how it works on there. Alright, I tried it over here on one of my iron miners and it still fluctuates, and I know why that is though. It's because this is 74.5, so that's probably why it's jumping between 74 and 75. And then this one should, I would assume, be the same. 74 jumps between 75. Yeah, okay, because these are both 74. Actually, all four of these are 74.5 basically. That comes out of here. So that makes sense for that. So they're pretty accurate, it seems like. So definitely, I guess, try and avoid using the decimal points on your belt systems. Otherwise, it can't really read it out that way. I mean, maybe in the future they might add it where it can actually read to a decimal point, but probably not. Alright, I think that's about all the new items. I mean, obviously I haven't done the elevator yet. I'm saving the best for last. I'm going to set that up over at the new factory project we're working on. So I'm just kind of saving that for now. But pretty cool. Definitely. Oh, I love the vents and the fans from far away. That actually looks really good. I like that a lot. I'm going to be using those for sure in a few builds. There is also the train stopper piece. Or is it transport buffer stop? So you can put this on the end of a train line to stop them from going any further. I'm not 100% sure I'll ever use this, but it's definitely a cool thing to have in the future. You know, I mean, it may also end up just being a cool, like, decorative piece. Because I can definitely see maybe, like, using this, like, the back side of this, like, on position. Using, like, clipping this part, like, into a wall or something, and then using, like, this back side piece for, like, a... I don't know, like a support leg or something, or just like a little detail coming out of a wall. Pretty cool looking. All right, so let's head on over to, I'm going to have to take my hyperdeck cannon, just because it just takes so long to get over there. Even driving, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of driving, and it's kind of a waste of fuel and time to do it. So let's just blast ourselves over there. So actually, let me take a quick look here to see what we're going to need for the elevator. It needs beams and silica. And then the actual floor stop needs modular frames, motors, and also beams. Okay, so we have all those automated and going into our storage. So that should be good. We should be able to just fly over there and get right to work. All right, welcome back to the big old factory we got started on last time. It's going to be putting output. Whoa. It's going to be outputting cooling systems and some extra aluminum ingots in the end. So we have our stuff set up here for the motors. It's all of our steel rotors, stators, and then the motor assemblers over there. I haven't actually, like, they're all hooked up to each other, but like nothing's actually like flowing it into anybody yet. And we did also set up the 80 iron smelter ingots, or sorry, 80 iron smelters. Right, I ended up doing 90 over there in that building. And then that's also making our iron pipe from over there. So we also have to attach our iron pipe to bring it over here. So that is going to be part of our ending today. And then the other thing that we basically have to do first is finish our train line. So we have our train stations down here. We just need to finish the train line. There's part of our copper input right there, but this was just an impure node, so it only gives me 150. And I need 784, 764, something like that. So we're going to have to train in the other 600, whatever, that we're going to need to be bringing over. So we're going to set that up. I believe the copper spot we're going to be using is over here, kind of where this water inlet is. And also over here, I believe, is the coal that we're going to be picking up also on this train. So this is going to be an 8-car train, as you can see from the station downstairs. The front 2, I believe I'm going to dedicate to the copper. And then the back 6 should be able to be dedicated to all the coal. So let me just double check my numbers here before we go and get too excited about setting things up. And let me just make sure I have the right numbers for copper. So it should be, it's either 764 or 784. And we're going to go out here. We got to bring in 600 copper. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got myself a little confused. So this spot is going to do 184 copper. We're going to be putting a Mark III miner here. It can put out 300, so we may end up just sending the rest of the copper out of here. Maybe we'll add in some like extra smelters or something, use it for something if we need to, so we're not wasting. I mean, if we don't have to, we don't have to. And then we're going to truck in, or it's not trucking. We're going to train in the other 600 from that spot over there that I was telling you about. So let's kind of follow along our train line here until we get to the very end of it. And then that way I can actually finish things off and get us over to where the copper actually is. Oh, I forgot to update our to-do list. So we did check out the 1.1 things aside from the elevator. But like I said, I'll do that in a few minutes. I just want to make sure I actually get this train line finished up. And then we can get into the actual building process, which will be the water pumps, the refiners, the constructors, and also a sweet, sweet elevator. All right, so here is the current end of my train line. It does split off right there. There's a T-junction that is going to go, eventually it's going to go up there so that we can pick up a bunch of the bauxite. Actually, this is essentially the bauxite line that's going to go off this way. And this way is going to take you to the coal and copper. The coal and copper is right here. The copper is sitting right on top of that little mound right there. You just can't see it. And the coal is right there. As you can see, a little dark patch in the distance. So we just got to get this little spot here right on to over there. And then we're going to have to put in a big old train station so we can actually load things into it. So let's figure we face right now. So I'm going to start banking this a little bit more to the right. So let's go to our blueprints, train stuff. We're going to go train right flat. I think because this was a flat piece, right? Yeah. So if I go like this, finally we have infinite nudging, another thing I forgot about 1.1. So before I could never do this. It was limited to how far you could nudge. And along with infinite nudging, you know what else you can do? Vertical nudging. So using page up and page down, I can finally do this. Haha. Oh my god, everything's going to be so much easier. Anyway, let's clip that into position now. So we'll get that one done. There is a way now to connect your blueprints as well. Obviously you don't see I have train tracks on this. I'm going to try setting up. So you guys sent me a video in Discord to check out of how to like set up your train blueprints to where they're just auto connecting all the rails. I'm going to have to take time. I didn't get a chance to do that before recording this episode, so you're going to see me do it without that way for now. But yeah, while this sun sets, because unfortunately I don't have my Sky UI mod anymore, although it is beautiful. through the night. I'm probably just going to do little things where I'm going to like build this train line out, and we'll just skip ahead to daytime, and then we'll resume when I can put this train line down. Alright, daytime has finally come. I got a little platform set up over here. I just had to measure out the distance, so I know this is where my train station can actually go. And then I built around the corner there, and I don't have this blueprinted, but I ended up just building a little split junction here. So because this is ideally going to be the global train network, that way we have a split that can go that way and kind of cut those biomes there and also pick up all this stuff. And then we also have one that'll split this way and kind of go down through the map like this. And then that way we'll have one going this way, one going this way. And then I can kind of leave some opportunities open for, factories to be built in like the big green forest here. And eventually we'll be moving into the desert here as well. So let's get the train stations, actually the train stations here. I think I actually have it. Is it facing the wrong way right now? No, it's okay. So I need to get in, it is 8 freight platforms. There's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Make sure this is all going to fit. It is. Oh, I almost fell to my death. 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so now that we've got our 8 train platforms in, I want to make sure I color code these so I don't forget which one's which. So front 2 are going to be copper. And then these ones can be black for coal. That'll work. Carbon steel finish works. So we got 6 coal and 2 copper. So now I just have to actually hook this back up to the rest of the train system here. So I'm wondering if I could do a T-split back there, another one here. Or do I just loop it around here to just have a singular T system back there? I think maybe I'll just have 2. It's not really going to cause any big issues or anything. Alright, it's always fun setting up semi-complicated train systems when you don't know what you're doing with trains. So we got our little split here. So you're going to come down here. I haven't hooked it all up yet, but I believe this should work. So I drive on this side. So you come here, you can either go this way or up this way. And then so from this side, you can basically join the track there. From this side, you can join that track there. So basically you should be able to go, as far as I can tell, in every direction that you should need to. It does look a little bit clippy, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't think you'd ever see that when the train's driving. And then I come into heat, like this is the exit from this side to come in and pull up and pick up the copper and the coal. Then I'll go through there, pick everything up. Loops around that side, comes back onto this system here, which again, you can then loop down and then go through that way. So I believe that is technically the train line done. Now all we have to do is put down the miners. So from here I need 600 copper. Where's my copper? There you are. Oh, looks like I got a friend to deal with here. Let's grab my little turbo rifle here. There we go. So we got our copper right here ready to go. We'll put up a little miner. And then, so this is a normal node, right? I believe. Yes, normal node. So this will give me all 600 that I need. And then from the coal down there, how much coal am I going to be bringing in? You know what? Forget the coal. We're not going to worry about that for right now. Let's just worry about this copper. So we'll get the copper. We'll put a miner in here. We'll get it looped. We'll get a little lift set up. So we'll bring it up into here. We'll set up a little buffer system on the outside here. Thankfully, I left myself some room. Put a little buffer here with some storage bins for it to go into so it doesn't get all stacked up while it's loading. And then we should be able to hopefully route the train that's in here. So we're going to set, this isn't going to be Sydney. This is going to be, I set the, okay, there we go. So this is going to be coal plus copper pickup for cooling system. And then, now we can get our train down. We'll grab one train or locomotive here, face it in the right direction. And then we're going to put the 8 freight cars. And then on the very end, we're going to put one more electric locomotive facing that way. So you got a double push. And I think that should work. Otherwise, I think the other way around it would be to put 2 on the front. But I think you can have one on the front, one on the back. and it shouldn't cause any issues. So there we go. That'll be 2 front ones copper, back 6 will be coal. So let's get this miner in, set it to 600, and we'll get this train hooked up. I feel like it should be getting power. Oh, right, because the rail system's not fully connected. That's why. Well, I don't think I could have planned that any better. So because I started this rail line way over on that side of the map, and over here, putting this in, look how perfect it is. No clipping. It's exactly just enough space to fit the miner in here. And then now I can hook up the system to go on over to the other side and hopefully keep it out of the way-ish for the coal here. We got pretty much all the copper we're going to need that's going to get loaded in. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 over there. I think I'll probably have some friends I'll have to deal with when we go down there, but we're going to probably worry about the coal, I think, in the next episode. So get this set to 600 and then hooked up to the train and we're good to go. Alright, this is one of those times where now in Update 8, being able to put a splitter right on the ceiling is actually going to be perfect for me. Because now I can put it on the ceiling. I can just nudge it right in position for these splitter holes here. Connect up this line to right there. Put in my lifts underneath here. One there. One there. Oops, not that one. Not the back hole. That one. There we go. So the splitter is going to split those two into the buffer lines, which feed into the copper lines here, and then the train will take it away. So the only thing I have left to do now is I'm going to grab some power here. I'm going to hook it up to, I'll just put a pole in here for now. And then I just want to connect it up to that miner so that once I actually finish hooking up the rail line, it'll send power over here and hook up to, and it'll power that miner. All right, train's track is completed because I didn't have that much further to go, which means power is now connected to there, which means copper should be filling up into the train station. Okay, good. So now we're going to dock it, and then we're going to open the train menu. At the timetable, I want you to go to coal copper drop off, and then I want you to come back here. We're going to save changes, we're going to turn on self-driving, and that should work. So let's find out. I'll just do a quick little, I'll speed this up as the train goes over there, and we'll see if this actually works or not. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm surprised that actually works so well for a slightly complicated track system. I mean, the real test is gonna be once we actually have multiple trains set up and see if they don't collide with each other, right? All right, cool. That part is done. All right, back at the factory. Let's do some actual building, or factory building this time, shall we? So I've got some area marked out for 60 constructors for our copper wire. That is going to be feeding our rotors and stators here. And then we're also going to need to throw down a few water pumps here down below that I've got, not necessarily a pump set, but I got like some foundations down ready to go for it because I did have to pass the time by during the night. Got some lights up, got it looking pretty cool. Updated my to-do list so you can see some green check marks on there now. Got the train rolling through pretty good. And then so now we're going to come down here. We do need to add some water pumps, and then we're also going to have to do some refineries. The refineries are going to happen probably on the floor above where I'm currently working. And then I'm trying to figure out where I want to put in the elevators. I think for this factory, it's probably going to make the most sense. It's probably pretty dangerous standing right on the train track right here. Actually, no, this is a safe spot. This is fine. But I feel like it'll probably be best, since this factory is like so big, that I'm going to probably end up using multiple elevators. And then that way, you know, so you can use like an elevator on this side, and then you can use like an elevator on that side, just so you're not like forced to run all the way across the factory. If say you're like all the way over there and you want to take the elevator, that's going to be a long walk. So we'll figure that out as we go though. But if we come down here, this is kind of where I mapped it out to where about as far out, because we are kind of living right on the edge here. As you can see, this black line here is about as far out as I can go. So if I want to put in my water extractors here, they can only actually go out about so far. So as you can see, if I aim out too far, they just start to disappear, because that is the end of where I can actually build things. So I got to stay in about right here if I want to put machines down. I mean, I can still build like buildable like foundations and walls and stuff out here, but I can't place any more machines. So, whoa. So we got that kind of figured out, and then since I'm on the world grid, I know this kind of flatly just follows along, and I'll still be able to put down all my water extractors there. So I need, what is it? For the copper at least, I need 523 cubic meters of water per minute. So that is going to be, would that be 6 water extractors with some downclocking, or 5 with some overclocking? Actually, wait, no, 5 times 120 is 600. Okay, so no, I just need 5. 5 with some downclocking. So let's bust out my usual method of putting these down here. We'll grab our pipeline junction, put it right in the middle there. I think that's right in the middle. And we'll grab our water extractor from our production here, holding down control to snap it right against it. And then I'm going to come out about this far. I think I'm getting power from the train line. That's funny. Try and put this about right in the middle. Actually, I'm going to put this a little further back this time. I usually put them quite forward. Or, well, not quite forward, but right in the middle. This time I'm going to put them back because they're sitting down a little further compared to the foundations, so I'm going to have to lift pipe up.
The ratios?
Excuse me? How dare you interrupt me while I'm speaking? Okay, so it's actually not that bad of an up. So there we go, 1 there. Then we're going to go 2, 3... Whoa, place it underwater. What was that? You guys see that where it was like underwater? I didn't know you could do that. Interesting. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. So, yeah, those are my water extractors now. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. But since I can, I'm gonna, because it looks really funny. I think it'll work anyway. I don't think that's too much of a... I mean, that might be too much of a head lift for these, but we'll find out. That's good. That's so funny. I don't know why that happened, but I'm taking it. Oh god, I don't know where to line these up now, though. Alright guys, 1.1 off to a great start so far. So, I mean, it works. I don't seem to have any pumps in, so we got our net fill ratio, looks like it about where I need it to be. So, I mean, that'll work. I feel like I probably won't be able to do that for all of them. I'm not really even sure how I actually did that the first time. It just kind of appeared on the bottom of the water there. So, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. So those are all clocked now to 104.6. And that'll give me the 523 water per minute that I'm going to need for these pure copper ingots. I do need more water for the rest of the build. That's why I've got more space here. But we're going to worry about that in future episodes. For now, let's just kind of worry about getting these on upstairs here. So I'm going to pump that water from down there. It's going to come all the way up here. So there's the floor we're currently working on. And then here is going to be where the refineries end up going. I was going to put them on this floor, but I was like, man, there's no way there's enough room because I still have to fit the 60 constructors in there. So we're going to go up here and we're going to put in 3 groups of 10 copper refineries. It's going to output a total of 840. And then we're going to be adding in more copper ingot refineries in the next episode. That's going to be making some steamed copper sheets and a little bit of the alclad aluminum sheet as well. So, but that's future Cheffery's problem. And today we just have to worry about finishing off with these refineries here. That's going to pump down into those 60 constructors there. That's going to feed this line and we can turn on these sweet motors. Let's get it going. Okay, so 3 groups of 10 refineries, pretty easy. Let's go ahead and pop that down right now. Man, I'm so thankful for blueprints or we'd be here for 6 years. So there we go. We got 30 copper ore refineries down, or copper ingot refineries down, I guess I should say. So I need these to do a total of 840. So let's go 840 divided by 30. That means each of these has to do 28, which means I definitely overbuilt by a little bit, but hey, at least it's really even looking and all clean. So make sure all of these, if you're following along, are all going to be set to 28. I mean, you probably don't want to follow along with this exact build, but if you want to follow along with the numbers, I suppose, and lay it out in your own separate way, that'd be cool too. And then just let me know how it works out for you. So since I don't have the Mark 6 conveyor belts yet, and I need to move 840, I want this factory to be 100% efficient right off the get-go. So let's go ahead and put in, actually this is supposed to be a splitter. I was putting mergers down. So let's get rid of those underneath. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line in the middle, I'll split it, and then that'll feed to this line here and this line here, and then you'll have 2 belts of 420. Nice. Yeah, when I tell you straight pipe mode is just the greatest thing of all time, that made that so much faster getting that all hooked up. So, as you can see, I got my copper ore coming in, and it is all sort of just backed up waiting for the water to fill up now. So that is the patented Refinery loop system going all through there. So you'll have, I mean, technically right now it's going to send 523 water. We don't even need that much for these refineries. Essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to fill in the rest of the refineries in the next episode for the rest of the copper ingots on this floor over here. And that's also going to get connected to this giant water loop system so that everything can just share that 523 water per minute. So we're kind of overfeeding this system right now, but that's totally fine. At least it'll be up and running. So now I've got that copper those copper ingots are going to come down in 2 lines from down below. They're going to come down through those 2 holes here, and I'm going to run them along the ceiling. I guess we'll have to go around this one a little bit. Actually, that's fine. I can just loop them both around to this side, and we'll go around here. And then we'll come down here, and we'll drop them down, probably to be fed from this end, because I want things going this way, so that we can just directly connect the copper wire outputs from over on this side to those machines there with minimal issues getting them across. So let's go ahead and we'll start setting down our, I guess I got our water and refineries done for the copper now, so we can take that off our to-do list. And then now we just got to put down, as my little sign here says, I can guess get rid of this, 60 constructors for copper wire. So we're going to grab our stacker blueprint here. Where is it? You are under constructors, our copper wire stacker. So we're going to put that, I'm going to give myself a little bit extra room here. No, I don't want it facing that way. I want it facing this way. Okay. So I want to make sure I have at least 2 foundations on this side freed up. And then 1 on the outside is fine. I think if I want it right in the middle, I can actually go like halfway. So we'll go like right there. That should be about right. So we're going to go 1 there. First one down. Holding control, put the next one in connected. Make sure they're all facing the right way though. Going the right way? Yes, you are. And then the third one on the back, this makes 30. Facing the right way? Sure is. And then we're going to go to non-stacking, which is this one. And then we're going to do the same thing where I just stack the same thing on top. If I blueprint it, will it connect easier? I think so. I always just shift it around if I need to. Alright, I think this should work. As long as these should feed down 2 lines each. Split from here. One will go up here to feed this line here. Okay, so now we just gotta get these fed along the ceiling, which is gonna be a little messy, I think, as long as I'm not blocking. Okay, I don't want to block the lights though, so I'm gonna bring myself around the outside here. And then I'll essentially line myself up with this light over here, or with this other belt line. That way I'm not crossing over anybody. Will you stay straight for me, please? What's happening? Why is it all, like, turned? What? What happened? What happened to my belt here? What's going on? There we go. Okay, copper ingots are now coming across. I think I found a weird bug where if I'm trying to build in straight belt mode, sometimes it just starts to curve like on its own for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys are also running into that. Hopefully get that fixed because that is definitely slowing me down a little bit. The straight pipe thing is just an absolute game changer in terms of speed though. So we're going to get all these hooked up, all the belts hooked up and everything in the power. And then these are this output over here, these two outputs over here, I should say. One of these is, how do we split these up? Okay, that was slightly poor planning on my part. So the way this is going to work is I need 960 wire going to the stators, and then I need 720 wire going to the rotors, which means I would need a Mark 6 conveyor belt to get the 960 if I wanted to keep it in one. So I think what I'll do is, so 720 divided by, so each of these does 30, right? So that means 24 of these needs to do the wire. So I think that's what I'll have as this one right here. So we'll do, let me put a little sign on so I don't forget. Don't need that big of a sign. So yeah, we'll have 720 wire coming out of here for the rotors, which means I only need 24 of these. So that's 6 here, that's 12, that's 18, this is 24. So let me mark these out color-wise, just so I don't forget. There we go. So all the red ones are going to be the copper wire for the rotors. So I'm going to sever this spot here. What I'll do is I'll actually just take this line out from here. Don't delete any power lines accidentally. And then I'll have to take out some of the, I don't know if this is fixed to 1.1, so maybe you guys can let me know if I'm taking out, I don't know if I have to take out both lines anymore or if they snap in a little bit better. But I'm going to do it just the way I know how, because just to be sure of things. Okay, so if I did have Mark 6 conveyor belts, I would just put a conveyor hole here and merge this line up into here and then just send it over all together. Which I think I might do and just, you know, not worry too much about the fact that it won't be exactly 100% efficient until we get the Mark 6 conveyor belts. Or what I can do is I can just send this belt all down as one, because that would be, is that 30 times 20? Oops, not 30 times 920, 30 times 20, so that'd be 600 from this floor. And that means I could take, so I could just send this over as one, and then I could send this over as a belt, and that'll just connect it to however many it needs for this one. And then we can kind of go, maybe I'll do that for now, and then we'll just come back and update it later. But I'll put this in for now just so I don't forget. All right, I also forgot in this 6, because it doesn't need to be 180, it needs to be 160. So we're going to drop this to 20. Then I'll paste this on the other side. There we go. So that'll be 160 coming down this line, 600 coming from that top section, and then 720 coming from here. So the 720 just goes directly into all of the rotors here, which is on the bottom section. So essentially that's just going to get, we'll hit a splitter for this bottom part, and then we'll also have to hit this with the pipes. And then same thing, basically the pipes are all coming over on line, so the pipes are going to get split for, that's going to be a 1 to 4. So that's going to go in, where do the pipes come in? Pipes coming up there right now. I probably will just adjust that a little. Actually, I'll probably bring them along the ceiling here and then drop them down from there. Alright, just had to wait for daytime to come because it got real dark here at nighttime, even with my low light section on here. I mean, technically, without having the actual global illumination on, I technically don't get the actual light from this, or light source from these. I mean, they still look like lights though, so that's why I like them. So anyway, thank God for vertical splitters here in 1.1. It just makes everything so much cleaner. So we got our pipes coming in here, and look how easy it is to feed those. So we got one lift coming down there with a splitter going through the middle of it, and that is feeding our pipe system all nice and cleanly. Now all I have to worry about is actually bringing all this beautiful copper wire over. So I'm going to grab the 720 that's going to be for the rotors. That's going to come to this bottom section here. I'm going to have to put I'm going to probably put in a lift to bring it over, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll put in a vertical splitter like this. I don't know if that'll actually work or not. But I mean, I'll certainly give it a try. Or worst case scenario, I just have to feed it into a splitter like right about here, and then we'll just split it into those two lines right there. There we go. It's made it a heck of a lot easier on myself when I swapped the pipes to be on the top input on the bottom section here instead of the bottom. That way I could just run the 720 wire across the gap here, bring it right down to this section here. I probably could have brought it over, maybe just, I might bring it over a little bit more in the future when I'm doing some more like redecorating, just so there's a bit more of a gap here. But I like the kind of just that you can pass underneath here nice and cleanly. And then I'll have to put some supports and stuff in. And then, so for this 160 copper for the stators, basically I figured out is you could feed 4. So that line of 160 is going to feed this little lift right here. And then eventually we can just take it out in the future and just make it into the one section, just like we were in the other one. And then so for here, I'm going to grab a splitter, and then we're going to bring the 600, then we'll feed to right here. I'll put the splitter maybe about like right here. Actually, because I don't want to have to like put the lift going through here. So give me a second, I'll figure this out. There we go, that works for now. I think I'll probably end up changing it in the future when it all becomes one solid line of 960 anyway. But that works for now. So that gives 720 to the bottom section for all the rotors. That gives the 600 for most of these, and then the 160 remaining over here I still have to hook up along here. And then that will be all our stators and rotors, and then we should see, because I do have them hooked up. So our outputs back here were pretty simple. We got our rotors and our stators coming along here. And then so now you'll start to see motors kicking on here. Awesome. Okay, so we know it all works for the most part. We just got to make sure it's all running properly. So once this line's hooked up, and then if we just wait a few minutes for it to kind of balance itself out, we should be good to go. Yeah, I think that'll work good enough for now. So that brings our 160 over here to this group of 4 right here, right? So 40 each, and 40 times 40, or 40 times 4 is 160, 4 times 40. 4 times 40 is actually 1600, but quick math skills for you right there. So it looks like we're slowly getting this going. What are we waiting for over here? What am I missing here? Looks like we're basically just waiting on a lot of the copper wire to come over, and that's probably because this is going to take a few minutes to kind of fill this manifold system back up. Although it looks like we're spitting out a pretty good amount per minute here, because we kind of had this system more or less already backed up. Yeah, as you can see, we're just kind of waiting to get the copper wire out of here. Make sure these are all Mark V belts going through here, otherwise they're going to be really sad. Yeah, so it looks like we're at this point, we're basically just waiting for everything to kind of get filled up. We'll move that, we're waiting for those to move on over. So I will let time pass by here for a few minutes. We'll update our to-do list because we have this done, and technically this is done. I didn't mean to turn the motors on already, but I ended up just hooking up the whole power system together. So we got those running together. This is making our 60 motors per minute-ish eventually. So I'll just double check as everything empties out here, and then hopefully I get to just jump ahead and be like, hey look guys, it all works. Ah yeah, it works. How about that? Yes, I am a little surprised because sometimes when I put these things together, I'm a little shocked they end up working. But yeah, so you will still see a couple yellow lights here. Like some of these things are getting backed up. They're just trying to actually put out all of their wire because they were fully backed up. And I, for some reason, had to reconnect a bunch of belts, like a bunch of times in a row, because they weren't even though it said they were connected to the machines, it wasn't actually feeding anything. So everything is going in now. Everything, I've seen all the machines work, which is perfect. I don't have to sit here for the next couple hours waiting for this to fully balance out. Let's finish off our day by coming over to check out our to-do list, which has been mostly updated now. We're just going to grab that, take out the 56 wire we put on there. I'm not really going to change the copper one just yet, although I do have like, oh, the autosave just slowed me down a little bit. I've got things kind of updated. We got our copper ore coming in, all of our iron ore and copper ore done. Iron ingot smelters are done. Well, I do have some of the refineries done, but I'm not going to finish that yet. All our stators, rotors, and motors are done. And all the constructors of the build are done, so that's nice to do. Basically, all we have left to do from here is a lot of aluminum stuff to put together. The heat sinks, the blenders, then we got to bring the nitrogen gas over. That's over there somewhere. I think just over beyond that rock there. We're going to pump that in, and then we're going to be bringing in that bauxite eventually from over there, and that's probably going to be the floor above this. Actually, no, because the floor above this is the copper right now. So the floor above that, probably be this one. Will probably be the start of our I don't know if I'll be able to fit all the aluminum set up on this floor. I mean, we'll certainly try. And then we got like the heat sinks up above, and then a few other things, and then this factory will finally be done. It's a big one, but it's going to take some time. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being here for another one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, or leave a comment down below if you liked anything. If you didn't like anything, let me know, and I'll try and change it for the future. And I'll see you guys in the next one for probably some aluminum factory.